if I want massage and she can't give me a massage and she can't rub my feet and she can't scratch my head, but she can cook me a dinner. When she hands me the dinner, if I say, I guess I'll just have to go get my needs for massage met somewhere else, because obviously you're never going to meet my needs. Thanks for the food. If I do that, well, ladies, you can write in the comments what kind of man you would call that, right? So today I want to talk about something that seems like it would be easy and obvious if we are in a relationship with someone that we love and they love us, but it tends to actually sometimes be not so easy and obvious. And that is knowing how to recognize love. Now, what I'm referring to is something similar to the love languages. We're all different a little bit, right? We all show our love and affection a different way. But then sometimes, I'm sure we've all had the experience of being in a relationship where no matter what we did, no matter how we attempted to show that love, it was rejected as not love. So, for starters, now obviously I'm a man, and this is just one man's opinion, right? I'm giving you my advice based on personal experience and the experience of friends and clients. So I will be talking from a male perspective, but men do this as well. Now, it's been my experience, my own personal friends, clients, that almost every man I know has been in a relationship or more than one relationships where they ended up feeling like it just doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter how I approach the problem. It doesn't matter how much intent my action has behind it. It doesn't matter how long I think before I speak or write that email or write that text. It just seems like no matter what we do, it's wrong in the other person's eyes. And now there's two different ways to look at this, and we'll talk about both. There's inside of one relationship, and then there is if there is a pattern across the board, either way. So in terms of inside of one relationship, and I'm going to use a woman as an example, but this applies both to men and women. We all know women run on emotion, okay? And many times for a man, trying to respond to something that a woman says and guessing how to say it and what our response should be is like throwing darts at a moving dartboard. And it all just depends on not just the space that she was in when she initially brought you what you're trying to respond to, but the space she's in when you actually do respond. And that's not always the same thing. Maybe you get an email on a Monday morning and you don't respond until Monday night. And by the time you respond to her, the feeling that she was having Monday morning is different, right? But all you have to go by is what she just said in the email Monday morning. It can be crazy making. Now, this is where I talk about, or why I'm talking about recognizing love. If you are the person that feels consistently that the other one is getting it wrong, and I'm not just talking about in a new relationship, I'm talking about years, years, and years, or if you've had the experience of multiple relationships where you just feel like nobody ever gets you, nobody ever understands how to show you love. We all show love differently. We all react to our significant others with a different tactic. Now, as a imaginary, somewhat imaginary example, let's just say the way I want my person to show me love is through massage, right? I love massages. I have a lot of aches and pains, right? And maybe they just can't physically do the massage. I say, well, okay, can you rub my feet? Well, no. And can you massage my hair, even though I don't have any? No. But what I can do is cook you dinner. Now, it is up to me at that point to recognize that her cooking me dinner is still showing me love, even though it's not coming in what you would say, quote, the preferred form is. Now, when you look at it from a non-emotional POV, you would think, well, yeah, duh, right? I mean, how could you not recognize that her cooking you dinner is her showing you love? It very clearly is. Now, this is where things get into the weeds in terms of men and women, because for men, it usually is a physical it's usually a little bit more palpable. I can say, I'd like a massage. I'd like dinner. I'd like for us to go out. Whatever it is, it's something, this is what I want. Can you do this for me? Yes or no. But with women, a lot of times it's a feeling that they're looking for. And many times their feelings can be up and down, whether it be throughout the day, throughout the week, whatever the case may be. Again, a lot of times you're throwing darts at a moving dartboard. The other part to it is that women will generally not communicate exactly what they're asking for in that moment. They may say something to you, and what they're hoping that you interpret is that they are needy in that space and they need some support. But they will not say, I am needy and need some support, and here is why. Whereas a man will say, I've had a hard day at work, my feet are killing me, can I have a massage? We will tell you why we need what we need, and then we will tell you what we need. Or a woman will just kind of tell you how she feels. And as a man, it's just your job to just guess and get it right. Now, all men are different, right? But we kind of come into different categories. Now, some men can show their love through fixing things. I mean, like physical, like around the house and that sort of things. Or I built her a shed, or whatever it is, right? Some men are more financially inclined and can, hey, let's take a trip, let's take a vacation. All right. Some men, more like myself, my love language would kind of be more along the lines of time and touch. Okay. You're having a bad day, I'll come up, I'll massage your neck, right? Or I'll sit with you and listen. And then maybe I might offer up some advice, which sometimes that's not exactly what the other person wants to hear. But that doesn't mean whatever you're doing to attempt to show love is not showing love. It is the intent that matters. Whoever you are, whatever the individual circumstances are, if your other person is either asking for something or just sharing something with you, and you, as the recipient of that information, process it and do what for you feels the best thing that you can do for them in that moment, depending upon the person that you are, that is showing love. Now, it's up to the other party to recognize that. And this is where we run up against the wall a lot of times, especially us guys. Ladies, if you have been in a relationship or relationships and you are now on multiple different timelines of feeling the exact same thing, where the people that I love, the man that I love, the people that I want to show me love, I don't get it. The problem may not be the other people. It may be that you're just not willing to interpret their actions as love because it did not hit the moving dartboard with the dart. This is the issue. Now, it's not all one person's fault. Now, if somebody says this is the type of love and support that I need, and somebody goes out of their way to not provide that, that's not okay. However, if, let's just use that imaginary example again. If I want massage and she can't give me a massage and she can't rub my feet and she can't scratch my head, but she can cook me a dinner. When she hands me the dinner, if I say, I guess I'll just have to go get my needs for massage met somewhere else, because obviously you're never going to meet my needs. Thanks for the food. If I do that, well, ladies, you can write in the comments what kind of man you would call that, right? Well, the same is reverse. The same is true in reverse. Men show love differently than women do. Some women understand that and they appreciate who and what their man is and how they show things. To say, well, he may not say all the right things when I know he loves me, I know he cares about me, and I can see that he's trying. That's the key to a good relationship. That is how you're both going to grow and prosper together. On the flip side to that, there are women out there, unfortunately for us guys, who, if we do not say the exact thing that they were thinking that they might want to hear every time, we are going to be accused of not loving them, not showing them love. And we will consistently hear, if you would have said it this way, if you would have only done it this way, if you would have tried a different approach. And it's just a roulette wheel of the same things that we've heard. And, on any given day, we're reaching back in our brains. Okay, she said she wants this, this, and this. Here's my response. Oh, I got it wrong again. And then the next time it's like, okay, she said do it this way, and then you say it this way, and then it doesn't match, because what the woman is looking for you to do is to create a feeling in her that she doesn't have on her own by herself. And this is where we get to the root of the problem. Ladies, there's no man on the face of the planet that is going to make you feel something about yourself that you do not already feel about yourself. So if you are heavy in insecurities and you lack confidence and you do not feel like you are worthy of love, then no matter what that man says, no matter what that man does, he is going to bring that emotion out of you. And then you are going to blame him for his words and actions for that emotion coming up. If you feel loved and you feel supported and you know and understand that, hey, I have value, I'm worthy of love, I have a good friend group, I'm a good person. If you feel these things about yourself, then you're going to be able to recognize when the other person is recognizing those things in you, and it will bring that emotion out of you just the same as it will bring the negative emotions out of you if you don't have those things. So this can get very, very sticky, because if one person is consistently rejecting the love attempts from the other, that can be very hurtful to the person that is trying. Now, what I can say in my own personal experience is that the way I speak is the way that I would want to be spoken to. I believe most of us, generally speaking, in our day-to-day lives, that's how we act. Now, of course, there are circumstances where you might want to just stop and say nothing. Maybe you just want to try to be supportive. But even then, that sometimes can go haywire. And I'll give you an example, somewhat of what I mean. Now, for me, type of man I am, if I say something to somebody and I present them a problem, if they just look at me and they say, well, you've got it, no problem, I know you're strong, you've got it. To me, that kind of feels like what they're saying is, I ain't got time for your bullshit. I got my own problems. That's how that feels to me. Now, I know that that's not really their intent, but that's how it feels to me. So the point there is that I'm not going to not usually use that language with somebody else. I'm more like most men, where if you present a problem to us, I'm going to attempt to solve the problem. Generally speaking, with men and women, that usually goes wrong. Now, that part I can understand. I can completely understand if the woman says, I wasn't in the space to hear that. That's not what I needed in that moment. But that's where it should end. When you then add on to that, I guess I need to get my needs met elsewhere, or this means you don't love me. Those are feelings that are trapped inside of you as the woman that, again, it's coming out of you in that manner because what the man said did not elicit the emotion that you were looking for, and therefore the negative emotion came out. And the last thing I'll say is that if you are somebody that um, consistently tells the other person, well, that's not what I need, do it differently, do it differently, do it differently, I would challenge you to keep a log, to keep a journal of the times that that happens and the things that you're telling the other person to say or do. Because inevitably and invariably, what is going to happen is that's going to be like a roulette wheel. And when the next time happens and the man says, blah, 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 and you say, that's not what I wanted to hear, I wanted to hear this, you both have a record of the time when 3 months ago when you told him, all I want you to say is blah, blah, blah. And this circles all the way back to the consistent changing of a woman's emotion, which she can't help. This is something that we all have to deal with in reality. Every time a woman has a feeling, it can be triggered by something completely different and lead to different desired results. And all of those desired results just line up. And usually the man is just looking at that list of things that she's told him what to say or what to do and just hoping we pick right. And then we pick wrong. And then it's up to the woman to recognize, okay, he tried. That is something I've told him to say in the past or something I've told him to do. I can see where he's trying to show me love. Or you can choose to not recognize it. And then at that point, you might find yourself on multiple relationships, whether it romantic, whether it be with your family, work people, where you just feel like nobody ever understands me. Nobody shows me love the way I want it to be. And that might technically be the case. They may not be showing you the exact love that you want in that exact moment, but that doesn't mean that they're not showing you love. That's what I mean by recognizing love. It's not necessarily how you interpreted it, it's what their intent was that generally is what matters.